is a understatement.
Yep.
This might be the entirety of the Emerald forces.
And the point is, there is no Reaver in sight. There is no Reaver in sight at all. So you look,
could not render everyone.
Yeah, look at this, more than a platoon of infantry running around outside on the platform, and there are no Reavers in sight. Where's the Cobalt Air Force?
I have to admit, if I were a Cobalt guy inside that point, that would have been an utterly terrifying sight.
How many kills would you get if you threw a C4 at the window?
Where did the Cobalt Air Force go then, at that point? That is very strange.
Fire substation is about to cap in favor of Emerald. 20 seconds away. Also 3 minutes down for Isotech plant, so, and it looks like Cobalt's going back to that. I'm heading over to substation.
And this is the thing that oh, Freya substation, you're right, it's going to go through. So all this pressure being applied by Emerald, and although Cobalt's making these very last moment saves, oh my god!
Oh, again, last second.
Oh, but there's too many VS coming in fresh. Oh wait, no, there's no fresh reinforcements of the Cobalt.
One resonate.
I see more blue than I see purple.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They're calling for resonate in proxy chat.
Now the tech plant was reinforced by Cobalt and then immediately reinforced by Emerald, which is, I'm sure, something that they were waiting for. They were waiting to send extra people to it. It looks like Cobalt is trying to get on the point here at the tech plant. They have the inside. Yes, Emerald is now trapped on the outside. However, they have primed the SCU gen. Emerald is playing this the other way. Emerald has said, you know what, you can have the point. We don't want the point. They have gone to a massive point hold on the SCU.
Remember, that's what Connor did to Miller yesterday.
That's the point.
And if the thing is, yeah, the Cobalt forces can just set up spawn sunders outside the SCU and push them off. If they don't have the point, they will not be able to take it.
So what is an Cobalt's air or Emerald's air, or is it even playing air at this point of the game?
Emerald, yeah, they... at the moment, the Cobalt air seems to be scattered around the center area. I don't see their big air blob at the moment.
So, Cobalt makes a proper save, finally pushes off the attackers from Freya substation. That's it done. Their next attack currently for Cobalt is at Echo Valley substation. That's their main attack. The problem with that is that the run time from the spawn room to the capture building is very, very short, and it's kind of difficult for Air Force due to this large pipe prevent, you know, to get in without being bombarded by air. And also the other problem is that the Cobalt forces are sitting on the upper ground, which you'd think normally is fine, but with the way grenades go, you can just throw your grenades into one point and that's it. And there are counter grenades coming out from the Cobalt forces, but it's far too early to use all your consumables with 2.5 minutes to go. You want to try and keep your consumables really for that crunch 30-second final push.
The SCU is dead at the tech plant.
And they're getting the point.
The Cobalt people were killed off. They did not put a Sunderer up, and now Emerald has the point again with the SCU destroyed and 3 minutes 20 seconds left.
And this is where the Cobalt Air Force is at the moment, trying to take out all the spawn points from the VS. The vehicle terminals are down.
Yeah, Cobalt has no choice but to gal drop their own tech plant at this point.
Yes.
And
hold on, the Emerald forces have the vehicle spawn point at the SCU, so they could spawn Sunders there, although they're obviously being hounded by the Air Force.
The gens
Cobalt
are down
has
as well.
reinforced Echo Valley substation.
This is incredibly dangerous for Cobalt right now. They need to get forces back to this tech plant.
Yeah, they're pulling Sunders now. They're not surviving very long, although they're trying to get one inside.
And already there are some presents being pulled from that vehicle terminal to meet them up on the point. There are going to be some very nasty surprises.
Alright, Emerald's got a Sunder inside. Oh, it just blew up. There was a smart Liberator there, tank busting it. So this is the first Liberator I see for Cobalt.
There is a huge reinforcement pool. I mean, the Cobalt forces were pushed off the capture point at Echo Valley Substation. It looks like it was over, but then a massive reinforcement wave, while all this tech plant stuff's going on at Echo Valley Substation, Maxes and infantry coming in from Banana. And now we have fresh resources, fresh grenades for the Cobalt forces with 60 seconds to go, and now they've got Maxes, and they're holding onto the point. Now the large Cobalt force, they have to hold on against this large Emerald force coming up the staircase. With 40 seconds to go, it could go either way.
Cobalt Air Force coming into Echo Valley, fighting the Emerald Air Force overhead.
And there is a large amount of pew-pew coming through the double doors as Emerald tries to group up to push through. They got a gen repaired, but not the SU, it doesn't seem like. Minute 22, I'm trying to see if Cobalt's still defending the SCU. I'm sorry, if Emerald is. Emerald has a strong defense at the SCU gen. It is slowly being taken out. Depends on how long it takes Cobalt to kill these guys and get that SCU back up to reinforce.
Yeah, Cobalt's got a spawn sunder on the southeast side of the tech plant, but Emerald's got one on the northeast side, so they're both equally far away from the entrance. And Cobalt's trying to do some gale drops on the balcony,
The SCU
and the
is
SU is up.
Under 50 seconds. I don't know that that's enough time.
Cobalt's got the balcony. Yeah, Cobalt will clear it out now.
If ever Emerald was going to get the tech plant, now would have been it. Probably
And
their
there
best chance
is
of the
a
whole game.
huge Sunder, like foot zerg spilling out back of the Emerald guys, trying desperately to get back onto the point. In
The
fact, it
attacking
looks like
force that was Echo Valley Substation has obviously redeployed into Isotech plant.
Yeah.
That's where their extra numbers have come from.
Except now that the gens are up, the infantry can't get in except by jumping over or being a light assault. And it's very difficult to do that with a large force like this.
There's a small NC force just being a nuisance at Freyr Amp Station. Matheson's Triumph is a small force from Van who's slowly taking the base, just taking it down, being a nuisance until it's responded. Fortunately for Cobalt, Matheson's Triumph, Waterston's Redemption is safe because of the Echo Valley Substation. It's got a minute and a half before they have to worry about that. And the bulwark is safe, but they've got a huge number of people just literally sitting at the bulwark waiting for the tick down the last 20 seconds.
this is 12 to 24 guys at Matheson's Triumph, and that's great. You saved your tech plant. That's great that you're trying to attack other places, but Matheson's Triumph is just as important of a choke point as Isotech plant. We don't care necessarily about the size of the facility. It's just that those are two very easily defensible bases, and you certainly don't want to lose Matheson's Triumph to 24 guys. Emerald has redeployed all those tech plant guys into Matheson's Triumph. The population is spiking right now, and this is going to become another difficult fight for Cobalt.
Oh, no kidding.
Cobalt will move their air force into Madison's Triumph now.
So I'm looking at the percentage numbers. It's 43 to Cobalt and 51 to Emerald. Just those are the point numbers. And the fact is, Cobalt can do this without having to take out the Valley Substation or pushing to Isa Mountain Pass. They can, in theory, if they are able to reclaim the Traverse, reclaim Freyr Network Compound, and then reclaim Freyr Amp Station, they can get this back to a tie. So I mean, it's doable in the next couple of minutes. Problem is they need to be offensive again. They've got a small window of opportunity from Echo Valley Substation to go somewhere else, and the bulwark, it looks like they're actually trying to push in the south. I wouldn't say that the Ymir southern reach is actually the best base to try and attack, just given the nature of how difficult it is. And the capture point at the tech plant, is that an infiltrator? No, it's actually a medic, so there is a small harassment force, reinforcements, a squad.
This is Lanzer on all call. 20 minutes remaining until match end. 20 minutes remaining until match end.
Galaxies from Cobalt dropping on Madison Triumph right now.
And the problem is that at the tech plant, they haven't waited for a full save. They didn't even leave a full minute. There's one light assault for Cobalt, maybe a couple of stranglers. A full squad has come in from Emerald to just be a nuisance to the tech plant and trying to elicit a greater response in its save.
I don't know what the Cobalt Air Force is doing still over Asa. Oh, they seem to be coming into Madison Triumph right now, yes.
I think if there was a time to take that air out of the game and put them as foot soldiers, this is it. If you can get another 24, 48 people that are a platoon that can push a point somewhere.
They just dropped a full Galaxy on a deployed Emerald Sunday, and they put about 8 C4 in it and tank mines, and they basically blew each other up.
Did the Sunder die though?
The Sunder died, and about 8 of them. But they succeeded.
As long as the Sunder dies.
Exactly. More Sunders up though. Cobalt is pulling his own Sunday spawning to spawn right next to the B and C point towers. The Air Force has got the air, and there are like 5 or 6 galaxies overhead from Cobalt. But they do need to get down there.
The tech plant still has a 50-50 population here. I'm trying to see what the defense is that and maybe it was just air above from Emerald.
With daylight breaking, the last spawn sunder for Vanu has been killed off. They have a few others, but it doesn't look like they're actually deployed.
No, they won't be able to field an attack from outside anymore. They're gone.
Wherever the 12 to 24 Emerald are at tech plant, I do not see them. I don't see a sunder placed anywhere. Or...
Well, let's just have a look at the map. And you can
it
see
might be the Air Force.
The same story elsewhere. There are currently 5 bases under attack, and all of them are basically Cobalt bases under pressure. As the tech plant is still waiting to be saved. Washington's Redemption is under attack. The Bulwark is under attack. Matheson's Triumph was under attack, but it's a long 5 minutes before it'll even come back so they can attack themselves, that being Cobalt. And Freyr Substation is also under attack. And that's just the story of the whole game. Pressure from Emerald.
I said I didn't know where Emerald was. They obviously left a cloaker around. This came down to 1 of 12 Cobalt. They left, and now Emerald is getting back onto the point. They just gal dropped onto the balcony. This is the tech plant.
Tech plant, but they have so little forces, and Cobalt's got multiple Sunders inside, although they're being destroyed at the moment.
Yeah, those Sunders are dying.
Sunders are down. But still, the vehicle terminals... No, one of the vehicle terminals is up, so Emerald is hacking it. Yep, it's for Emerald now. They can spawn PPA.
That was a bad
There we go.
mistake.
There's the first PPA harasser.
Left too soon. This is what it's coming down to. You know, you have to stay, and it's why having your people on the offensive at so many bases is so powerful for that empire, because Emerald can choose where to attack, and Cobalt has to keep on hopping around, and they left too early. They didn't secure their tech plant, and they left a vehicle terminal.
I don't think this PPA driver has done this before, because he's taking the wrong route. Oh, there he goes.
So,
okay, they got 2 up.
Guys. We don't seem to be hearing Fara on the microphone.
I beg your pardon. Well, I'm not talking right now. I'm just watching the stream. I'm allowing the other two to chat.
How long has it been since we've heard Farah, I guess is the question.
Good 2+ minutes.
Alright, should be
Just
fine.
following the stream. That's all that's happening. Thank you very much,
All right.
Maelstrom.
No problem.
There we go. 2 PPA harassers are upstairs at the tech plant. They're bringing them to the balcony. The Cobalt seem to have the Air Force outside again. But obviously now that Emerald's inside, they can be entrenched. But the question is, how many forces can Emerald actually get inside? Are they spawning a Sunder and then switching squad leads to bring in more people inside? Because they don't have a...
Well, they are properly set up, and they do have a lot of Sunders. They're making exceptionally good use of that vehicle bay area.
Wow.
And the air can't do anything inside this particular tech plant. And the fact is they are
There's
still
one.
popping the Cobalt forces.
There's one heroic heavy from Cobalt that just went down. He was between all the Sunders.
And this is going to be horrendous, because right now the best response that Cobalt can do, and this is somewhat indicative of what happened previously when Mailer lost the tech plant right at the very end, there are lots and lots and lots of Sunders. I mean, this is like a full bay full of Sunders, and most of them are all repair Sunders with Bulldogs or Furies, simply just being suppression for the rear spawn. So you can't take the tubes in, therefore you have to go outside and take the side doors. Now, and then on the other side door,
3
you have
harassers.
PPAs.
3 harassers upstairs and 4 harassers at the back doors. So they got 7 harassers upstairs.
factor that in with the best thing in the 2 minutes 30 seconds. The best thing that could probably happen for the never mind. I was going to say the best thing that Cobalt could do is use the last vehicle terminal that's outside next to their spawn room and use it as a measure to pull out vanguards. Perhaps come in through the sides of the tech plant and use it as a form of killing off the Sunders at the back and giving yourself some extra maneuverability to get inside the base. But right now, this is extremely well locked down. Why is it locked down? That one vehicle terminal.
Yep, exactly. The Air Force is outside, but they're completely useless for this base at this moment. And that one vehicle terminal really turned this around. Without that vehicle terminal, Emerald wouldn't be able to pull this off.
While this is also going on, Emerald has forces at Matheson's Triumph, and Cobalt has managed to resecure Fare Substation yet again. But this is not the only assault that Emerald is managing to pull off. They still are attacking other places. The Bulwark is also ticking.
Cobalt's got one Vanguard at the vehicles field, pushing in and trying to take something out, but
the Cobalt forces are doing a good job at basically, jumping in and suiciding onto the Sunders. But the problem is those Sunders aren't there to just be a solid wall, they're just simply a time delay. The vast numbers of Sunders are just stalling for time, and the number of Cobalts we see on the minimap now is rising and rising and rising. In fact, it's got to the point they're actually already on the capture point. They've cleaned out the Sunders at the stairs, and that was always the vulnerability. There was a strong defense on the balcony, but it was always weak where the main gun was on the kind of lower platform. And they've just swamped in galore onto the tech plant.
Great job.
Fact, they outnumber 2-1, but the thing is, how many people have they pulled to make this happen though? Because it's both plus 96s. And it's 43 to 51 in favour currently of Emerald. So we're getting to that point with 11 minutes, 12 minutes to go. The time it takes to save the base for the timer to go back, and then the time it takes to then capture a base, we can already rule out that Ice and Mountain Pass probably won't be captured in time. So, the options that are left to the Cobalt forces are getting more and more limited.
They've managed to save Bulwark, they've managed to save the tech plant. It looked like they were saving Matheson's Triumph,
Bulwark's
but
still
again...
going down.
Bulwark's not saved yet.
Oh, it was just a moment. They had somebody on the point. Hang on.
But that was a great play from Cobalt at the tech plant, because they realized they couldn't go through the tunnels with all those Sunders and PPAs on the balcony, but the back doors were vulnerable.
I was so fast that the map reloaded.
Oh, nice.
So, yes, so the capture point looks like at the Bulwark it's been contested for, that's for certain, but I definitely see more blue on the actual point itself.
Yes.
Lots of dead Emerald forces.
For your substations under contention again. There we've got the Zephyr.
All of the
oh, it's a Duster.
All of the attacking force from Ice Tech Plant from Emerald looks like they've moved over to Matheson's Triumph and doing another play there. I mean, Emerald understands if they just simply keep the places ticking that they are, Cobalt can't even. Yeah, Cobalt can't even attack them anywhere, and that's what they need to do. That's the only thing they need to do to win this match. Is just keep what is ticking.
The Traverse is safe. Freyr Network Compound is safe, and Freyr Am Station is safe, so long as Freyr Substation constantly is being ticked. Go in. Doesn't matter if we don't take it. It's a 4-minute base denial of Freyr Am Station, so it's a very good delaying tactic. With Waterson's Redemption constantly inflict, you can get an Echo Valley substation and constantly attacking the Bulwark and then going back and forth. Ymir Southern Reach is never in contention. And
Flanger on call. 10 minutes until match ends. 10 minutes until match ends.
Ymir Southern Reach, it's such an easy base to defend, it's horrendous for Cobalt to try and make any progress.
Emerald is pulling more and more forces into the substation. It was secured by the Cobalt ground forces, but Emerald is pulling in with Sunders, Galaxies, Liberators, Valkyries even.
See that Emerald is trying to reinforce the Bulwark. They've dropped in some squads, but unfortunately they ran into Cobalt's Air Force, and even if they were to get this capture point, I'm not sure the numbers, well, it's 60 seconds to go, so realistically what they're saying is that, yes, you've nearly saved this base, but now we want the capture point back so that we can stop you from grabbing any type of point on Ymir Southern Reach.
Well, I mean, at this point, there is no Emerald base that is under contention. It's only Cobalt bases that are being attacked.
There hasn't been an Emerald base under contention for quite some time now.
I think the Rime Analytics push was the last one, and that was probably 20 minutes ago.
When there was a base under contention, there was only ever one base that Cobalt was actually fighting over.
Freyr substation is down to a minute. There is a large push of NC trying to come in here. So they managed. It looks like they managed to get this back.
Galaxy's coming in for NC, multiple.
Yeah.
It's a more convincing save. I mean, there are reinforcements coming in for Emerald onto the capture point, but it's there's so many NC inside now. It's overwhelming. If you're anything but a heavy assault, the rifle that's got extended magazine, you simply cannot kill enough people, even if you get the jump on them, because you run out of ammo.
The Duster Lip is still trying to take out the infantry for Cobalt, but he won't be able to do much.
It's ruthless. The fact is, most of the heavy assaults are currently fighting at Freyr substation jackhammers. I mean, that's because it's so devastating on these close quarter, kind of tight corner fights.
Again, Cobalt has left Isotech plant. It is not resecured to 0, and there's 12 of 24 of Emerald back on it. They haven't flipped the point yet, but they're heading back that way.
And see, they're currently playing the kind of redeployed defensive game. So I've not fully saved Isotech plant, but I need to go somewhere else. Where what we would like to see is we fully save the tech plant. Let's now go to Ice and Mountain Pass and start the tick down there. Keep the fight off of our bases and put the fight on the enemy bases.
I don't know. That must have been an air group or something that moved through there, because they're no longer here. Oh, they moved to Waterson Redemption. They must have been galaxies flying through. Here is a force of galaxies, and it looks like armor. They have pulled armor. They've hacked the vehicle terminal here at Redemption, and they now are setting up a... I'm sorry, they didn't hack it. This is Cobalt who's doing this. Cobalt is trying to set up some armor on the hills above Redemption to take out people running out in the open.
Emerald is still reinforcing the push at substation.
The
work is still not done.
Okay, Cobalt's got himself a Vanguard. Probably come from the... I don't know where he's come from. Probably from Snowshoe Watchtower. And he's been useful in clearing up the armor. Although he's left a Sunder untouched in the garage. Probably because he doesn't have infantry support. I wonder if he's going to come back. Where are you going, Vanguard?
Alright, let me try and find the Cobalt Air Force. I'm guessing they're around Waterson's Redemption. Nope.
This is
most
a
likely
very back and forth 50-50 battle going on at the bulwark right now. The NC hold the stairs with some maxes. There are significantly more VS behind the doors, but they are managing to grenade. The NC are managing to grenade their way onto the point.
Where's the Cobalt Air though? I don't see them anywhere.
They might have just transitioned into the ground to try and attack.
Maybe they are out of resources.
That is also a possibility. The point is so close to... Oh, there are so many people, so many VS still to run in here. This is just not going to work out for the... No, there it goes, the bulwark. Captured by AOD for Emerald.
Oh, there's the Cobalt Air Force.
And the fact is, Freyr substation is also in the 60-second, sub-60-second marker. Now, there's no reason why Cobalt shouldn't lose this, but it's getting sketchy.
There is at least part of Cobalt's Air Force over the bulwark, but they're almost at flight ceiling fighting off Emerald Air.
So here's another thing. They've been fighting for 2 or 3 minutes now at Freyr substation, and they know where the Sun replacement is. Even if Vanguard tried to snipe it out. The fact is, if one squad, or even just 5 people, as we said before, went back to Snowshoe Watchtower, they don't need to go back to their warp gate. They can actually pull a Valkyrie from the Snowshoe Watch gate. They can fly in and they can drop on the Sundra on the northern gate. And you can even drop another second guy and redo it again. on the southern Sunder, and they can nuke it, because if with 4 or 5 guys with, you know, AV mines or C4, you can kill Sunders and you can snipe. And the only reason the Vanu are still in this fight isn't because of their beacons, it's because of that Sunder in the north garage that's giving them unlimited resupply and reinforcements.
The VS have gotten back onto the tech plant, and somebody repaired both vehicle terminals at the tech plant now. So they now have both vehicle terminals that they can pull, and they are trying to set up. They have multiple Sunder. They have one Sunder they pulled.
It's another base. It's now falling apart for Cobalt. Instead of making
the tech plant cannot be kept anymore, though.
Falling apart. Yes, so the tech can't be captured, so there's absolutely no point having any forces there whatsoever. The only chance, realistically, that... Let's see, what can Cobalt do? Cobalt can save Ellie Pass, and they can't actually capture the bulwark anymore, so they have to save Ellie Pass. They can save Waterson's Redemption and go for Echo Valley, but as soon as we get, actually, with 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go,
they cannot capture anything.
Bases. Bummer. So this is it. So now it comes down to an issue of how badly can we prevent a loss. Because the fact is, with the tournament setup, it's not just wins now, it's also by how much you won and how much you lost.
In the time left, the only thing that can happen is Ellie Forest Pass can be captured by the VS, although it's being secured now, so it's basically end of match.
We'll keep having a look at. They're probably going to play this out, see what the fighting going is. But you're right. Probably the last base that meant anything was Ellie Forest Pass. With that timer down, because we don't have overtime, this last 2.5 minutes is just a free for all. Have fun.
Yeah.
Cobalt is still going for.
Real fast.
Oh, Lancer.
So Lancer, we'll have you in the channel so that when you give the final countdown for the end of the match, you can be in here as well and hear us.
Gotcha.
I think honestly, I mean, the early game, what really helped Emerald was there was the back and forth between Freyr. They captured it, then Cobalt captured it, then they captured it back, and that really helped them. That put them up a point. But it was that moment where Matherson's Triumph.
Lancer on call. 2 minutes until match end.
When Matherson's Triumph was almost captured, and all of Cobalt had to redeploy there, that was when you really saw things change. After that, it was just fatigue from Cobalt. It's not so much that the dam broke and a whole bunch of bases got captured for Emerald at that point. It's just that thing that they did with a 12-man or 24-man group, and then pouring everyone on and having to have a 10-15 minute fight over there, having a bunch of other bases that we're constantly capturing. That, to me, is where this match turned. Up until that point, Cobalt was neck and neck. There was always something they could attack. There was always something that they could threaten Emerald with. After that point, there really wasn't. They were constantly having to go put out fires everywhere across the map.
And what's interesting, statistically speaking, is that Emerald is actually down on kills. And this is different from live play, guys, with this last 60 seconds of the game to go, is that Emerald played the objectives, and they played them beautifully well. And even if they got farmed, and even if they got killed, and they didn't have great KDs, it doesn't matter. It's all objective based.
Lancer on call, 1 minute.
So even some of the players that we're looking at, some of them will have very impressive, KD ratios and kind of what they did, and that's great. Being an effective soldier or infantryman or whatever is great, but the fact is, if you're just that loyal soldier, that one guy that ran in and distracted the 4 other people, and you died so that everyone else could get on the capture point, you are an extremely valuable person.
Yeah. Can you tell me the Reaver against Scythe kills?
Yep. There are 1,322 current Reaver kills made by Reavers, and there are 626 Scythe kills.
Basically double.
Made by Scythes.
Interesting.
15 seconds.
Galaxies make up 309, and then comes
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good game. Matches end.
Right, there we go.
You can see the map timeline.
Can you call out the score as well, Lancer?
Score is 55 Emerald, 39 Cobalt. Emerald's won. Great job. And the 2 interviewees, please come back to the interview channel. Thank you.
So we're looking at the stack tracking right now, and we're looking at the map timeline as we just move away from some of the combat to get quieter. And it's a clear picture. Both teams, right up in the first kind of like third of the match, maybe the first half, they're getting themselves up to the point where they're taking on the neutral territory. And then it's just a complete slugging back and forth. Cobalt takes the base, Emerald takes the base. Cobalt takes the base, Emerald takes the base. And that goes on for 5 or 6 different base caps, back and forth, back and forth. But the fact is, Cobalt is never able to take a base and yet secure the one behind, because Emerald was playing it beautifully, applying pressure, and they got the easier base cap. Cobalt really had to fight for any type of base capture, and then at that very end, that last half hour, it just seemed to fall apart for Cobalt with the pressure constantly applying everywhere. And as we can see on the map, the last 3 or 4 base captures all go in favor of Emerald, and it just seals the game entirely.
That it was a very, very close match all the way up to the end, and I really think you just start seeing fatigue of people. You know, there's only so many times where you can go pull a max, and also you start running into the issues of, do you have resources to pull a max? Do you have resources to pull that grenade to clear the point? Those all become issues as the match goes on in length. Do we have everyone up in the interview channel?
So we're going to go up and talk to our representatives of the 2 servers and see what they felt went well, and perhaps for Cobalt what they felt went badly.
All right.
Hey, good.
That was a very, very close match for the majority of the time. I just want to congratulate Emerald and say good job, Cobalt. It was extraordinarily close the entire time. Do we have the Cobalt Force Command in here?
Not yet. He's coming.
Okay.
Can you drag up Limgar? He's right below us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Forcefully can't get up here.
Yay. All right. So I guess I'll go ahead and start with Emerald. So Emerald, what did you think of your match? Were you constantly on the edge of your seat? Did you feel safe the entire time? How did that go for you?
Yeah, very, very interesting game. GG to our opponents. Very, very fast redeploys, very smart. I've had to really think on my feet and yell at my guys a lot. I'm sure they did too. We were willing to concede some ground, knowing that we could play with that, and we were ready to take some ground. All in all, I think it went to plan. Maybe a couple bases we didn't get, but otherwise, my forces did great. Couldn't have asked for more.
Now, Cobalt, how do you feel that your opening went, and what strategy? Did you get the bases that you wanted? Did you have the places that you thought you could push, or did you have to kind of think on your feet after the bases settled in the beginning of the game? Is there still somebody from Cobalt or no? Oh, they can't speak.
Yeah, talk powers as we begin.
No, we didn't get the main base we wanted was Rhyme. We had others as well. We didn't get Rhyme, and after that we had to work around it and try and find breakouts elsewhere. Apart from that, the start went like probably 75% successful. We came out okay. It was close enough that we got the Octagon. We really didn't want to lose that. We did okay at Freya. Wymere was a really good little save on that neutral base from them. But overall, I think it went okay for us, but we didn't get Rhyme, and yeah, on that warp gate, you don't get Rhyme, it's not good for you.
Now, in the beginning parts of the match, Freya Ramp Station traded hands twice, if not 3 times. Talk about that. I mean, Emerald, did you want to go for it off the beginning? Was that a reaction after you saw it got capped by them? And then as I said, it went back and forth. You guys kept on fighting over it. Was it just a matter of not really caring about the base, or could you not get your forces over there quick enough to resecure the base?
From a time perspective, Freya Ramp is new. I say that loosely. It's been around for a while now, and you can cap it very quickly, and you can gal drop onto the 3 points. So it's not really a huge concern if you lose it. You can get in there and cap it back, as long as you have the satellites to allow you to do that. So we're willing to concede that to focus people on the longer cap bases. Ymir is obviously something that is jewel in the crown on Esamir, so we needed to make sure we have that. That was obviously a priority. But we came back into Freya, although, yeah, I think ideally you'd like to keep Freya and not have to worry about it, but if you're playing against competitive people, which we were, you're going to have a push and pull on that, which we did. And I think that their attitude seemed similar. Like, we'll go there if we can afford the forces, but you don't want to lose Esamir Munitions or Matheson's Triumph. You don't want to lose Octagon. So they had the advantage of being able to play defensively. We had to be aggressive from the beginning and forever. So every time you try to push on a long point base, you knew you were going to get that last minute max crash coming by. It's just the way it is. So yeah, there you go.
I think one of the big oh, go ahead.
That's it. Just the Cobalt thing of that is we had the same thing with Freya. It was last on our list of like if you line up the bases you can take in the first 5 minutes. Freya was probably at the bottom of that. We went hard for Rime. We had people ready so that we could go for Freya, and then when Rime was saved, we decided to take Freya as a consolation prize.
I'd say probably one of the big highlights for Cobalt was capturing Isotech Plant and then its defense twice. Talk a little bit about how you managed to get the tech plant and then how you used it and how you had to defend it for the rest of the match.
Well, that was us, so I'll talk about that. But we saw that we thought that they were going to go for that with some sort of tech plant turtle harasser madness. So right at the start of the match, I sent all our squad there to basically blow up all the terminals inside and at the spawn room and at ISA Southern. Basically, if they were going to bring harassers in there, they were going to have to pull them from zero. I just thought, let's just try and scupper that. I don't know how that worked out in the end. I think they must have ditched it, and it was just infantry the first time when we fought over it as a neutral base. And I think what happened was, like, a squad from whoever was in that platoon went to the SCU to trip it or something, and like we just got like a local advantage inside and we pushed them off and took it, and straight away just started flipping ISA Mountain. And although there were a lot of people still in ISA Tech Plant for Emerald, we just thought we'll just backcount them, and everybody just went to ISA Mountain. We secured the Tech Plant like that, even though the Tech Plant was in ruins. It didn't even have an SCU, and there was about 100 enemies in there. So that was how it went first time we went there. And the saving was just you know, trying to get people down the balcony and making them think that's where you're going to come from, and then just rushing the stairs. You know, it's generally by the time like word of mouth makes it through that you're not going down the balcony anymore, it's too late and you're on a point.
Now, so, I mean, there were certainly points in this match where even though Emerald was leading for the majority of the time, there were times that, as a caster, I certainly felt like Cobalt was right there. I mean, there were times where almost I'd have to look at the score and remind myself you guys weren't ahead. That changed at some point. What do you think the turning point was? What do you think the turning point from being a really close game where you only need a base or two to either even it up or take the lead to constantly having to defend? What was there a point you can point to?
From me, I'd say with about half an hour to go, it was, I don't know, maybe to fight on Cero and then the constant defense of SM munitions. And about half an hour left, we were being pushed in, and we had all of our bases were constantly being defended. And as soon as that hits you with half an hour left, you know, I still thought, you know, we're not in a bad position here, but we're running out of time. You know, like we need to actually secure bases, and they were always pushing on, and we were always having to defend bases rather than move out. And with about half an hour left, 20 minutes left, I think up until then, I thought, you know, this is, you know, we're losing, but it's close. We just need one or two bases. But with half an hour to go, it kind of dawned that the time was running out, and we tried to play a bit more aggressive and play around and just try and take a base and play a bit more risky. And you know, it didn't work out, and that's why we started losing a couple more bases towards the end.
What about the I mean, we did kind of put more concerted effort to follow the air game. It seemed that Cobalt definitely had more air throughout the game consistently. I mean, is that something you, Emerald, decided, you know, we'll have a token forceful attack, or were you just surprised by how much that Cobalt was throwing at you?
VS, if you play live, know that you're not necessarily the strongest air, and it's different on live, but certainly in these events, it's just a lot harder in a scythe to win air dominance. So we designed our air force to work more in a reactive way for our ground forces rather than to just have general air-to-air cover everywhere. And it allowed us to have a lot more forces on the ground, and some would argue that the VS strength is on the ground, so that's where you should apply that.
Yeah,
From Emerald. Oh, good.
I commentated the air for this match and followed the air battles mostly, and I saw that Cobalt had about a platoon up, and they ran around in a big blob of Reavers, but they couldn't really do much against the ground. They did ground pound with their full platoon, but they didn't spread out as much. And the Emerald forces that were basically a 2-squad token force with Liberators sometimes ground pounded when they didn't have the intention of the Cobalt force. But I was wondering what the intention of both sides with the air was. What was Cobalt's opinion of how the air game went?
Well, Sure isn't here who leads our air, so I don't know exactly how he felt it went, but our intention with the air has always been, after 4 or 5 games ago now when we lost to Connery, we realised that you have to have a big force of air because we just got decimated by it. And I think that's changed a bit with how the resource work. You know, now you can't completely strangle them out and just go to full-on ground farming like we've done in our previous games, and I think that maybe Emerald's way is something that people need to consider, of having a more reactive air force that can use the resources more effectively and then join on the ground when they're not needed. But our aim has always been just to get a big air force. I think Cobalt Air is very good, and it's a strong part of our game, and we try and use it in those blobs on the fights where we want to take a base. Calling in 48 or 36, however many we need, can really turn the fight.
True.
A question I have for Emerald is, was there ever a point in the match where you felt really threatened, where you felt like, we have to stop this, we have to stop what's going on here, or this could completely change the match?
From a motivational standpoint, you want to cap every base you go to, so every time you don't get a cap, it's hitting you that maybe you did something wrong. But you got to be smart about it. So just like our opponents are defending, say, the ISA tech, they can rush in at the last minute. They have time to kill before they need to deploy there, and our guys are wasting their time not killing much. In the same way, we did the same thing. So I decided at Sarah Listening Post, they can waste a lot of time at Sarah Listening Post, and we'll just crash it at the end. But it's a bit of a... You hold your breath because you've got that 30-second window that they need to make the cap, and you assume they're going to do it. So I got to give props to my guys, and I'll do this now. Four outfits basically led this in some way. Lots of outfits to mention, but I'll just mention 4 in alphabetical order. So AC, Void, he was in charge of one big detachment. AOD down at Ymir, in charge of a detachment. DA Ender was in charge of more of the central area, and Volt Rage more at the Freya end. So really, without those 4 guys keeping an eye on the map on my behalf and redeploying their forces, it would have been very difficult to win. But yeah, to answer your question directly, I'd say Sarah Listening Post was definitely one of those things. And after what happened in the Smash yesterday, it was pretty obvious that there was going to be a play at Rhyme. So we were very much ready for that.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for talking to us. That was very impressive to watch. It was really tentatively close. And I honestly thought, Cobalt, that you guys were going to do it. You really, really went for Sarah Listening Post. I mean, you really wanted it, but it was just outside your grasp, and you had to pull away and go back and save other bases that you were under attacking. I mean, Emerald, guys, I got to hand it to you. You did a really good job at just applying pressure everywhere. I mean, we asked you what you would do at the beginning, and you were like, pressure everywhere. And sure enough, pressure everywhere, and that seemed to work, just grinding down the Cobalt forces. So is there anything you guys want to say to each other just before we wrap up?
I'd just like to know, someone should count up the amount of saves that happened on 0, 0, 0, 0, because I think I counted 5 bases
very, very close,
on the last second.
So not next week, but 2 weeks from now, okay, we are going to be back, and Cobalt, you'll be fighting Connery on Amrish. How are you guys feeling about that?
I think it's good. I mean, I think it's just the rematch. That's until now, Connor they were the first server to beat us, so we want to go back and get some payback on them. But I mean, we've always felt Emerald was the one to beat. They were going to be the toughest match, and it was the toughest match, service match I've played in by a long way, and it was really close all the way. So I think we've got a good chance in our next 2.
And Emerald, is there anything you'd like to say to Miller? Because you will be fighting against Amrish in 2 weeks from now.
Hi.
Is that it? Just hi. We're coming for you?
No, just hi.
Hi. Gotcha. All right. Well, thanks very much, guys. We will see you, I guess, again in 2 weeks' time. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
I was watching that.
Done. Estimator now out the way and sorted.
And so you have a dominating win by Connery, which in a way gives them a little bit of breathing room, depending on what happens in the next 2 matches. You have a decent win by Emerald from a point standpoint that puts them in there. And really, next week you can start sorting out where people sit. So the European servers, they need to chalk out a win next week to be able to get themselves into the running, and obviously Connery and Emerald can put themselves in very, very good position depending on their win and how they win next week for being in the top 2 to be in the championship game.
Right. So I mean, you've lost your first game, but it's not all over. It's not game ending. I mean, you can still bounce back, get 2 more wins out of the previous games. So it's congrats to the Americans. They've won their first round. Give me 1 second. I just want to check something.
And the thing that we're going to have to find out in this tournament is who can stop the Emerald meta. It's, a lot of people dismissively call it redeploy side, but it is far more complex than that. It's not just simply redeploying people to bases. They were attacking with their redeploy side. They were constantly moving. Every single base, they would be somewhere else, 24 guys, 48 guys. That's way more than just press redeploy and go to another base.
You're right.
And that's the thing that people have to do.
So we've got it on the stream, guys. And thank you for watching this week. Next, round 2 will be on Amrish. Again, it'll be 288 versus 288. Cobalt will play Connery. That will be on October the 11th. Its start time will be essentially 1930 UTC, but we have the times listed on the stream here for you to see in your respective time zones. The Sunday match will be Miller versus Emerald. That will be on October the 12th. And those will be 2 hours earlier compared to the Saturday game, so that will be 17:30 UTC. This is our pre-game show. The actual match start will be half an hour later than what the times listed on the stream. Our planetsidebattles.org website has all the details, all the fine rules, and all the specifics about our Server Smash tournament if you want to find out more. It also has tournament brackets if you're interested in reading more. Our details are on Server Smash on the subreddit. That will usually show what team wins what coin flip and gets what faction and starts from what scenario and what area. So by all means, try and keep up to date. And I guess we'd like to say, spread the word. Tell everyone out there. Tell your friends. If people think, what is PlanetSide? Show them this. Show them this game. Tell them to watch it this time. Or if you come across somebody in-game who has not heard of PlanetSide or Server Smash, sorry. There's a guy I was playing with the other day. He had no idea what Server Smash was. Just a complete random got in my tank. I was like, you don't know what Server Smash is? Oh my god. And give him the link and he was like, that's amazing. So spread the word and we'll show everyone on the internet what is by far the greatest FPS experience you can ever have. Period. So thank you for watching, guys, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. God bless and goodbye.